Hey YouTube, this is Scarecrow Kaiser. I'm going to do a deck profile for you here today on Dimension Police, and this will be a great Daiyusha Breakride deck, so get started. Starting Vanguard is Magnum. Prefer him over the other options for starters because they're less stable. I feel like this card is just stable and usable whenever I want. Daiyusha, he's a -3, and if I don't plan to use the effect, he's just going to be a vanilla. The grade 3 searcher, a little bit more understandable I think, but it's a low K booster, and it's not always guaranteed to work, whereas this guy, he's just going to be there, and you don't always use the effect, but at certain moments when you need to push for game, like when you break ride, this extra 4K will hit you over that next stage. So yeah, I kind of like him. For the triggers, we got 4 Dimension Police crit, 2 regular crit, 4 Dimension Police draw, and then 2 regular draw for 6 and 6. Since this deck is about a Vanguard who already has a crit on it, I don't want to run too many crits because I don't need as many since I already have them. And the threat is still there, so having the draw triggers to get pluses when the opponent blocks the attack anyway, as well as I don't need to hit my opponent as heavily early game with crits as other decks do. I can just get my opponent to 3 damage, and then my Vanguard having crit on it already means a drive check crit would be game, so I don't need to hit them as hard, so I don't need as many crits, and the draws just give me the advantage I want. And then last we have our 4 Dimension Police heals. Under our grade 1s, we have our 4 Brave. Very good. Definitely what you want to ride turn 1. Very good skill you can start using on turn 3. You send it from soul to drop zone. If your Vanguard hits, you'll draw. It turns an attack that your opponent wouldn't normally want to block on turn 3 into an attack they can either block by minusing. They can like take the risk of a 1 to pass, or minus heavily to make it hard to block, or they can just straight up let you take a +1. Yeah, this card's pretty good. And the cards that it forces your opponent to use up guarding with on that turn, later on when you do like your break ride or whatever, and now you're swinging with a crit, that means your opponent has that many less cards to block at the attack that has the crit on it. So then we have 4 Die Tigers, pretty standard in archetype based decks. And then 4 Perfect Guards. And then our last grade 1, we have 2 Commander Laurel. Commander Laurel works pretty well in this deck. You can do a break ride, and instead of swinging at their Vanguard, you can swing at their rear guard first. And you can do it like even unboosted. Your opponent probably won't want to block it. It'll be a big effort to block. Or they might. Either way, you're going to get you away. Because if they decide they don't want to block it because it's just a rear guard, you can use Laurel, restand that Vanguard, and your Vanguard still has all those benefits from your break ride to swing at the Vanguard. You're getting less attacks in, but again, this deck doesn't need to keep pushing the opponent up to 5 damage. This deck is about like hitting your opponent for multiple damage at once. So if my Vanguard's not going to hit, I don't really care about my rear guards not being able to attack either, as long as that Vanguard has like the big threat on it. So yeah. For our grade 2s, we have our 4 Die Fighter, our 10K Vanillas. We have our 4 Die Dragons, our 12K Attackers. And then we have 3 Die Drill. He's low on power, but he can throw a power boost to whoever we need it to make another column hit the right number, especially if it's a Vanguard that's on the Breakride. So that attack's going to be even harder to block. And then last, for our grade 3s, we have our 4 Kaiser and our 4 Ultimate Daiyusha. So yeah, when you Breakride out Daiyusha, this is a pretty obvious combo. Now you're sitting here on a 23k by itself Vanguard, who has triple cool deal 3 damage if he hits, without hitting triggers, and your opponent's gonna have to worry about you hitting grade 3. So pretty intimidating. And even after that turn's over, you're still sitting on that permanent crit every turn. So yeah, pretty lethal team up. As I said, this deck isn't about pushing your opponent to 5 damage. This deck is about like getting your opponent to like 3 or 4, and then hitting them and knocking them out with that single hit. So yeah, that's it for this deck profile. Thank you for watching.